Hey everyone! Welcome back to the Princess of Horror channel. Today, we're diving into something super mysterious, the phoenix, also known as the legendary firebird. You're gonna love this. Some people think it's just a myth, but others swear they've seen it with their own eyes. But honestly, whether it's real or not isn't what we're here for today. We're all about sharing one of the coolest stories ever told about this mythical bird. So get comfy and let's hear this amazing tale that's been passed down through different cultures over centuries. If you're excited, smash that like button. And if you're new around here, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss out. For ages, pretty much every culture's had its own spin on the legend of the phoenix, and it's still got folks hooked. One big question keeps popping up. Is the phoenix just a cool story, or is there some truth to it? Arab legends say this bird flies so high you can't spot it without help and nests way up on a mythical mountain called Kaf. Different cultures know this feathered legend by various names. In Islamic Sufism, it's known as the master of birds Western Europe sticks with. Meanwhile, China calls it Feng Huang, Persia says Simorg, and in Turkey, they name it Ankakusu. If we rewind a bit to modern times, you'll find mentions of the phoenix in plenty of movies, think Harry Potter and other blockbusters. But before diving into today's tale, let's quickly check out what makes the phoenix so awesome. We've all heard tales about the bird that can rise from its own ashes, right? What's really wild about this bird is its sheer size. Forget every bird you've ever seen because folks say this bird is as big as 40 eagles. They call it the phoenix, and it's known as the king of all birds, wise beyond our understanding and holding secrets we humans haven't cracked yet. Legend has it that the phoenix lives a crazy long life. When it feels like its time's almost up, it gets busy building a super special nest out of dry branches. Using some sticky stuff only it knows how to mix up, it carefully covers every bit of that nest. Then comes the dramatic part, the phoenix sits inside and waits until sunrise when, boom, the whole thing goes up in flames. The nest burns down to ashes along with the bird itself. But here's where things get magical. Out of those ashes, a brand new phoenix emerges, younger, stronger, with shiny golden feathers once again. And so its never-ending cycle continues for what they say could be around 5,000 years. All birds around the world know the secret. The phoenix is real and lives somewhere far away. They talk about it with a lot of respect and awe, and always count on him to show up when things get tough. This amazing bird steps in when the bird world faces an obstacle. It is said that there is only one male phoenix in existence. This legendary creature has deep roots in ancient Egyptian lore and is known for its incredibly beautiful voice that is unmatched by any other bird. Ancient manuscripts even tell us that the rulers of Egypt turned to the phoenix for wisdom because it could think like a human and could even speak our language. Our epic story kicks off with the mythical Kaf Mountain, a place so mysterious that no one really knows where it is. The only way to get there? Hop on a phoenix and soar through the skies. There's also this cool legend floating around that if you catch just one tear from the bird's eye, wounds will heal super fast. Variations of tales like this pop up in pretty much every culture. One memorable version is told by Farid al-Din al-Attar, an Islamic historian and Sufi scholar. In his book The Logic of Birds, he shares how total chaos broke out among the birds one day. Every single bird was sure that only the mighty phoenix could fix their mess, but days turned into weeks, and still no sign or word of their feathered savior. Panic spread like wildfire. They were all terrified something terrible had happened to the phoenix and knew they had to find their king somehow, come what may. Right then, in swoops the Prophet Solomon's bird, the hoopoe, ready to take charge and show them the way. Birds from everywhere flocked together, creating a massive spectacle that filled the sky like one giant fluffy cloud. Every type of bird showed up with one goal, to find their leader. They were all phoenixes. The hoopoe called out, explaining they'd need to embark on an epic journey through 7 valleys and across 7 rivers if they wanted to find this phoenix. So, after that, all the birds just decided to follow the hoopoe on this long journey into who knows where. When they got to the first valley, they were totally blown away by what they saw. It was like bird heaven. Everything a bird could ever need was right there. Living in that valley would be awesome because there's no need to spend hours hunting for food or worrying about predators. Everything you could want is safe and readily available. Seeing all these amazing things made a bunch of birds think, hey, let's just stay here. So some of them ditched the tough journey and settled in what became known as the Valley of Will. But for those still sticking with Hoopoe's lead, they were dead set on reaching their ultimate goal, the phoenix. They pressed on despite how comfy that valley seemed and pushed through until darkness fell upon them as they reached the second valley, the Valley of Love. Weird stuff started happening to the birds flying into the valley. This thick fog rolled in, messing with their vision, making them see all sorts of gorgeous birds everywhere they looked. Even rocks and sticks appeared as stunning swans to them. Understandably, the birds were totally captivated by what they saw. Some got so hooked that they ditched their journey and decided to hang out in this enchanting Valley of Love. Lucky for the rest, there were still plenty who wanted to press on in search of the phoenix. The birds found themselves flying over the next valley, which they dubbed the Valley of Forgetting. While soaring above it, some of them blanked out on why and where they were heading. Predictably, a few decided to hang back and settle in the valley, swayed by whatever caught their eyes and totally forgetting about their journey. Bit by bit, the number of birds sticking with this tough journey started to drop. But hey, there were still some that stayed strong and continued towards their goal until they reached what's called the Valley of Ingratitude. This place had such a profound effect on them that everything suddenly seemed pointless. The chatter among them shifted. What if we do find the phoenix? Was all this worth it? We left our homes and comfy lives for this? Fear crept in. They worried they'd lose everything for chasing after something so uncertain. This valley was a game changer. It made many birds question their whole mission so much that plenty opted out right there, losing faith in why they set off in the first place. There were not many birds left, and the migrants made their way to a cold, dry place called the Valley of Solitude. They were almost halfway through their search for the phoenix now. Fear began to creep into them as if they were completely alone. They have become numb. Instead of sticking together, each bird began to focus only on itself, and one by one they disappeared into the quiet darkness of the valley. Ultimately, the remaining birds found themselves in the Valley of Backbiting and Gossip, just before they reached the final stage of their journey. Here strange whispers began to fill their ears from an unknown source. Some birds heard rumors that the phoenix was dead, and that there was no point in moving forward. Others received what seemed like random directions that contradicted everything the hoopoe had told them so far. So, there were all these crazy rumors flying around among the birds. A bunch of them got super confused and ended up getting lost in the valley. Eventually, those who managed to stick together reached this last place called the Valley of Selfishness. They were so close to their goal, they could practically see Mount Calf in the distance, which meant they were nearly at the phoenix's dawn. Just one more valley to cross. But man, they were exhausted. Every other valley had drained their energy big time. As you can imagine, things got ugly fast. The birds started arguing about who was better and dissing each other's beaks and wings. Some even got so full of themselves that they thought they were cooler than the phoenix itself. This led to a massive fight breaking out right in the middle of Valley 7 until only 30 birds remained standing by the end of it all. So, the remaining crew finally makes it to the towering Emerald Calf Mountain, where the trees are swaying like they're at a party. They start looking for the phoenix and wonder, was this whole trip just an illusion? And guess what? Surprise! There's no actual phoenix here. Instead, it's all about uncovering what's inside you. As evening falls, these tired birds gather around a sparkling lake to take some much-needed sips of water. When they get close enough, they notice something between the ripples and moonlight, a shadow that looks like a massive bird resembling a phoenix. Intrigued, they peer into their own reflections on the water surface. The truth hits them like bright morning light, a veil lifts. The comrades then realize that there's no mystical phoenix out in some far-off place. The real treasure is buried deep within their own souls. After such a long and difficult journey, they've discovered these precious inner virtues themselves. So yeah, salvation doesn't come from chasing mythical creatures, it's been inside each one of them all along. It's a shout out to start making changes from the inside, both for yourself and society. But seriously, who's up for chasing the phoenix? If you enjoyed today's video on the Princess of Horror channel, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.